Bartholomew and the Oobleck by Dr. Seuss. Bartholomew had seen King Did get angry many, many times before. But that year, when His Majesty started growling at the sky, Bartholomew Cubbins just didn't know what to make of it. Yet all that year, the old king did it. All year long, he stared up into the air above his kingdom, muttering and sputtering through his royal whiskers. Humph! The things that come down from my sky. All spring, when the rain came down, he growled at that. All summer, when the sunshine came down, he growled at that. All autumn, when the fog came down, he growled at that. And all that winter, when the snow came down, he started shouting, "This snow! This fog! This sunshine! This rain! Bah! These four things that come down from my sky." But King Derwin, Bartholomew tried to calm him down. "You've always had these same things come down from your sky. That's the trouble. These same four things every year. I'm mighty tired of these old things. I want something new to come down." "Something new to come down?" Bartholomew gasped. "That's impossible, Your Majesty. You just can't have it." "Boy, don't you dare tell me what I can and cannot have. Remember, Bartholomew, I am king." "But even kings can't rule the sky," said Bartholomew. Finally, late one night, when all the lords and the ladies were fast asleep, the king was just getting ready for bed when a strange wild light began to shine in his gray-green eyes. "Why, of course!" he began laughing. "Ha, ha, ha! They can do it for me. Bartholomew Cubbins, blow my secret whistle. Quick, come my royal magicians." "Your magicians, Your Majesty?" Bartholomew shivered. "Oh, no, Your Majesty, don't call them." "Hold your tongue, Bartholomew Cubbins. You do as I command you. Blow my secret whistle." "Yes, sir." Bartholomew bowed. "But, Your Majesty, I think you'll be very sorry." He took the king's secret whistle from the secret hook. He blew a long, low blast down the king's back stairway. A moment later, he heard them coming. Up from their musty hole, beneath the dungeon, up the empty midnight tunnel to the royal bedchamber tower, came the magicians on their shuffling feet. Up and right into the room they came chanting, "Shuffle, shuffle, muzzle, muff, vissa, wizza, muzza, cuff. We are men of groans and howls, mystic men who eat boiled owls. Tell us what you wish, O king, our magic can do anything." "I wish," spoke the king, "to have you make something fall from my skies that no other kingdom has ever had before. What can you do? What will you make?" For a moment they stood there thinking, blinking their creaky eyes. Then they spoke a word, one word. "Oobleck." "Oobleck?" asked the king. "What will it look like?" "Won't look like rain, won't look like snow, won't look like fog, that's all we know. We just can't tell you any more. We've never made Oobleck before." They bowed and then went to the door. "We go now to our secret cave, on mystic mountain Nekatave. There all night long we'll work for you, and we'll have Oobleck when we're through." "They'll do something crazy," whispered Bartholomew. "Call them back, your majesty, stop them." "Stop them? Not for a ton of diamonds! Ha ha!" chuckled the king. "Why, I'll be the mightiest man that ever lived. Just think of it. Tomorrow I will have Oobleck." All night the magicians did. All night they walked circles round their magic fire, making magic, mumbling with their clucking tongues. "Oh, snow and rain are not enough. Oh, we must make some brand new stuff. So feed the fire with wet mouse hair. Burn an onion, burn a chair. Burn a whisper from your chin, and burn a long sour lizard skin. Burn yellow twigs, and burn red rust, and burn a stocking full of dust. Make magic smoke green, thick, and hot. It sure smells dreadful, does it not? That means the smoke is now just right. So quick before the day gets light. Go magic smoke, go high, go rise into the kingdom sky. Go make the oobleck tumble down on every street in every town. Go make the wondrous oobleck fall. Oh, bring down oobleck on us all." Dawn was breaking, and Bartholomew was trembling, watching out of his window. Now, just as the sun rose, Bartholomew smiled. Those silly magicians didn't do anything. Then suddenly, he stopped smiling. Was he seeing things? No! There was something strange up in the sky. At first, it seemed like a little greenish cloud, just a wish of greenish steam. But now it's coming closer, lower, down toward the field and the farms and the houses on the sleeping little kingdom. It was swirling around the palace. Tiny greenish specks were shimmering in the air just over his head. Little greenish blobs, just about the size of grape seeds. He stretched out his hand and started to catch one. Then he pulled his hand back. There was something frightening about those blobs. Bartholomew slammed his window shut. "Wake up, your majesty," he shouted. "Your oobleck is falling." The king sprang out from his royal bed. "By my whiskers, it is!" he cried. "Oh, that's beautiful oobleck, and it's mine, all mine." "I don't like the looks of those blobs, sire. They're coming down as big as greenish peanuts." "The bigger the better," laughed the king. "Ha ha! Oh, what a day! I'm going to make it a holiday. I want every man, woman, and child in my kingdom to go out and dance in my glorious oobleck." "Out in that stuff?" asked Bartholomew. "Do you think it's safe, sire?" "Stop asking foolish questions," snapped the king. "Boy, you run to my royal bell tower. Wake the village. Ring my bell. Tell them that it is a holiday." For a moment, Bartholomew didn't move. "Run!" barked the king. Bartholomew ran. "What's wrong with my bell? My glorious bell! What is that all over my bell like greenish molasses?" yelled the bell ringer. "Not only your bell," Bartholomew cried. "Look at that poor robin down there in that tree. She's stuck. She's stuck to her nest. She can't move a wing. That oobleck's gooey. It's gummy. It's glue." "Ooh," the bell ringer wrung his hands. "If that green stuff sticks up the robins, it'll stick up people too." "Someone's got to warn the people," cried Bartholomew. "Got to wake 'em, got to warn 'em. Stay in their houses. I'll tell the royal trumpeter," he shouted. As he ran, he could hear the plop plop of the oobleck on the window panes. It was pelting against the palace walls, as big as green as cupcakes now. He yanked the covers off the snoring trumpeter. He shoved his cold trumpet right into his sleepy hands. "Get up! Warn the people! Blow the alarm!" "Alarm?" yawned the trumpeter. Then his eyes saw the oobleck. "Those green things, Bartholomew, where did they come from?" "The king," said Bartholomew. "His royal magicians made them." The royal trumpeter leapt from his bed. "That king of ours should be ashamed. I'll blow it. I'll blow the loudest alarm that the kingdom's ever heard." But The royal trumpeter blew, and it was a big gong. My horn! Of all the greenish things that flew inside of it, oh no, my horn! He tried to blow, he couldn't. He tried to shake it, he couldn't. I'll get it out somehow, I'll pull it out. No, shouted Bartholomew, don't touch it. The trumpeter's hand was already in it. His fingers grabbed hold of that lump of oobleck. He could feel it squiggle around his fist like a slippery potato dumpling made of rubber. He pulled with all of his might. The oobleck began to stretch. Then, boing, the oobleck snapped back inside the trumpet. It yanked his arm back, right up to the elbow. I can't even wiggle my finger. What did I do? The captain tried to eat some. The captain really did. By the time that Bartholomew dragged him back inside the room, his mouth was glued shut with his oobleck. He tried to speak, but no words came out. All the captain of the guards could do was blow a lot of little sticky greenish bubbles. Forgive me for leaving you, Captain, but a captain full of bubbles is no help at all. Bartholomew stretched the poor man out. He left him there on his chamber floor. Bartholomew went tearing through the zigzag hallways. I'll get the king's horse. I'll ride through the country. I'll warn the people of the kingdom myself. He pushed out the door that led to the royal stables. Bartholomew stopped. He could go no further. Everything was covered with oobleck. He checked in the palace, every single house. It was dripping through the windows, dripping on the hinges, dripping through the ceilings. It was rolling down the chimneys. It was coming everywhere, even through the keyholes. For every bedroom in the palace came the howls of lords and ladies. Frightened in their nightgowns, they came jumping to their doors. Go back to your beds, get under your blankets, Bartholomew Cubbins cried through the halls, but nobody paid the slightest attention. Everyone started rushing about. Bartholomew made his way to the king. It was in the throne room that Bartholomew found him. There he sat, old King Derwin, proud and mighty ruler of the kingdom of Did, trembling, shaking, helpless as a baby. His royal crown was stuck to his royal head. The seat of his royal pants were stuck to his royal throne. Oobleck was dripping from his royal elbows. It was oozing from his royal ears. Fetch my magicians, Bartholomew, he commanded. Make them say some magic words. Make them stop the oobleck from falling. Bartholomew shrugged his shoulders. I can't fetch them, your majesty. Their cage on Mountain Nekatave is buried deep in oobleck. Then I must think of some magic words, groaned the king. Oh, what were those words the magicians say? Shuffle, duffle, muzzle, muff. That's all I can remember, and they don't do any good. The oobleck keeps falling harder. Bartholomew could hold his tongue no longer. And it's going to keep falling, he said, until you can speak these words. The magic words. You ought to be saying some plain, simple magic words. Simple words? What do you mean, boy? I mean, said Bartholomew, this is all your fault. Now at least the simple words you can say are, I'm sorry. No one had ever talked to the king like this before. What? He bellowed. Me? Me say I'm sorry? Kings never say I'm sorry. And I am the mightiest king in all the world. Bartholomew looked the king in the eye. You might be a mighty king, but you're sitting in oobleck up to your chin, and so is everyone else in your land. And if you don't say you're sorry, you're no sort of king at all. Then Bartholomew heard a great deep sob. The king was crying. Come back, Bartholomew Cubbins. You're right. It is all my fault. I am sorry. Oh, Bartholomew, I'm awfully, awfully sorry. At the moment the king spoke those words, something happened. Maybe something was magic in those simple words, I'm sorry. Maybe there was something magic in those simple words, it's all my fault. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. But they say that as soon as Old King spoke them, the sun began to shine and fight its way through the storm. They say that the falling Oobleck blobs grew smaller and smaller and smaller. They say that all the Oobleck was stuck on all the people, and all the animals just simply melted away. And then they say Bartholomew took the old king by the sleeve and led him up the steps to the bell tower. He put the rope in his royal hands, and the king himself rang the holiday bell. Then the king proclaimed a brand new holiday in honor of the four perfect things that come down from the sky. The king now knew that these four old-fashioned things, the rain, the sunshine, the fog, and the snow, were good enough for any king in the world, especially for him, old King Derwin of Did. The end.